welcome to another exciting episode of the Andre The Beast Crayton Show. Today we're going to talk about rethinking, reprogramming, and not just your computer system. We're talking about your body. How do we need to reprogram the way we eat, the way we exercise, the way we think? A complete overhaul. Today, all the way from Chicago, the Windy City, we have a young lady who actually has done that, who has understood her body, studied her body, researched and development, and decided to take all that information with a brand new company called Rethink Weight Loss. I'd like to welcome Cindy Topel to the show. How you doing, Cindy?
I'm well. Thank you so much for having me.
Drove all the way from the Windy City, Chicago, to bless us with your presence. I love it. I love it.
Can't miss an opportunity to come to Indianapolis.
I like the way people say that. Can't miss an opportunity. That's beautiful. Tell the viewers a little bit about Cindy before we get into the creation of Rethinking Weight Loss.
Yeah, absolutely. So I spent about 35 years in the world of technology. So always corporate sales, always enterprise sales. The last 17 years I spent working for Microsoft. And
That's a major 500 company.
It's probably major 100 at this point. I really hope you own stock because they're doing well. But I ran about a $500 million business. I had a big team that reported to me, and I absolutely loved my time at Microsoft. But after 35 years, it was time for me to see what else my life could be about. I had worked to build my career to where it was and cultivate this, persona, this corporate image of myself. And meanwhile, there's all this stuff going on in my personal life. And I really thought, let's see what else my life can be about. And it kind of led me on this journey to where I started Rethink Weight Loss.
What do you mean, like some things that was going on personal for the viewers? Like, we all going through some things, but you're talking about a Fortune 100 company, not 500, Fortune 100 company now. You're talking about basically walking away from a lucrative career.
Yep.
What were some of the things that was going on in your house that really made you think?
Yeah, it's a stressful situation, but it's one you get very much used to. I absolutely loved the people that worked for me, the company, and the culture itself. But after working in technology, I was looking for something more meaningful to me. And yes, I did walk away from a very lucrative career, but I was also 57 at the time. And I thought, I know I have more to give, but there are going to be different types of things to give. And I could probably stay and work corporate America, until the day I decided to hang it up. But I really wanted to be brave and try something completely different and start my own business. And how it all came together was I was in Florida on vacation, and work was crazy.
Isn't that where it always starts, on vacation?
So true. But I was on vacation. Work had been very stressful. I was, postmenopausal at this point. I went out for a walk, and I had just regained all my weight for the 8th time. I spent 5 times on Weight Watchers and various other programs, and this time I'd reached lifetime status, which is you hit your goal weight and stay there 6 weeks, and you get to be lifetime, and then I regained all my weight. And here I'm this successful person on the outside to the corporate world, and then inside I was just fighting. And I'm on this walk, and I have tears streaming down my eyes, and I'm having a hot flash, and my shorts are riding up, and I'm miserable. And I thought, something's got to change, or I'm going to break. All the stress at work, this frustrating up and down, never quite feeling like I could be successful everywhere else, but like home base. And I thought,
what was your husband saying while you're on vacation and you're going? I'm becoming the man here. My wife is moody. She's crying. What was his reaction to all this?
He's the most supportive human being on the planet, and he has always held the stance: whatever you want to do, I'll be here to support you. So I knew I had that behind me. He's my best friend, and he knows how much stress can impact a person's health. But this was really a personal struggle
really
for
about
me.
you
Like
now.
on the outer, I was doing well, but on the inside, it was frustrating for me. And I thought, I'm willing to lose weight again, but not the same way. I cannot pull macros or carbs or count calories or restrict things or white knuckle it and lose it all and then regain again. I just can't go through that one more time. So I'm willing to try something different, and I have to figure out this menopause thing. And
Well, you're seeking medical attention. You mentioned companies like Weight Loss and Jenny Craig, and I get it. They have food plans, but and then you have to go out and try to exercise and hope that the food plan works.
yeah,
But you're talking about something a little bit more deeper. You're talking about hormones because that really plays a better a key factor when it comes to weight
it does.
distribution for women. Correct?
It absolutely does. When I figured out how to lose weight, and I've cut my weight off for 2 years, and I figured out menopause and how much influence going into menopause and the cascading effect that the reduction of estrogen has holistically on your body, I was astounded. And Andre, no one teaches you this. So we learn a lot about our bodies as we're adolescents or in our reproductive years, but how much time do you think you spend in menopause in your life if you're a woman?
Probably a lot. Probably by the time you get, let's say in your 30s, maybe, because I would think that your body's starting to really develop by the time when you're 18 and 20, and then you start seeing maybe the hormonal changes about in your mid 30s, because that's when women start to really start looking at their weight. I could be wrong.
No, you're right. The average age a woman starts experiencing perimenopause is 37.
Wow.
And then if you're fortunate enough to live to age 75, you've been in menopause 50% of your life. And so we learn all this about our bodies when we're teens and our reproductive years, but like menopause, not so much. And so I had to learn a lot of this myself, not only so that I could understand what on earth is happening. Why is it so easy to gain weight? Why is it so hard to lose weight? Why am I experiencing all these things? But so I could be an advocate for myself when I'm at the doctor, because our medical community also does not have a lot of information on the holistic impact menopause has on your body.
So you mean your OBGY, your endocrinologist, which has to be referred by your primary care doctor.
Correct.
So all of these, in your nutritionist, in your trainer, none of these individuals were communicating with each other to give you the proper diagnosis to check your hormone activities.
Well, I knew I was in menopause, but you're correct. If you talk to the medical community, and I've talked to all of those professions and specialties, they get very little training in medical school and virtually nothing in residency around the holistic impact menopause has in your body, something women live in for 50% of their lifetime. And so we really have to self-educate and then be able to advocate for ourselves when we're at the hospital or the doctor. I was just talking to a woman yesterday. I think I'd shared this when we spoke earlier. I was just so frustrated and angry for her. She was experiencing hot flashes, and her doctor prescribed antidepressants for her. Not anti-inflammatory foods, not HRT, which is hormone replacement therapy,
Right.
not more fiber. He just wrote a script for antidepressants and sent her on her way. So that the lack of knowledge in the medical community is
Wait a minute. Now,
huge.
let's talk about accountability here. She gets prescribed antidepressants. Me advocating for myself, if I was in that situation, I would have said, "What the hell are you prescribing me antidepressants when I'm having hot flashes?"
Yeah.
Keep going. It'll come back on.
Yeah, I agree with you, but not everybody is as comfortable talking to a medical professional that way you are. In fact, that was the first thing I told her. Get a different doctor.
Mhm.
Because we have to find somebody who's going to actually look into and treat us for what we actually have and not write us a script and send us on our way. My heart goes out actually the most to the women in the earliest stages of menopause, which is perimenopause, because they get dismissed and misdiagnosed by the medical community a lot. A woman might say, "Dr. Andre, I just don't feel like myself. I feel flat. I'm gaining weight, and yet I'm doing everything exactly the same. And I feel, I have brain fog. I keep forgetting things." But this woman also might be in her reproductive years. She might have small children. She might be like trying to rise in her career. And so I can see how it is easy for the medical community to think it's something else, but they have to also start thinking, well, that might be menopause, because everything I just described to you is a classic menopause symptom. And while many of us experience different levels or different types of symptoms, 80% of us gain weight. 80%.
You would think that the relationship, because this is widely spread. Me as a trainer, I've been seeing it for years.
Yeah, I bet.
So what I couldn't understand is why the primary care physician, your OBGY, doesn't have a stronger connection with the endocrinologist, who basically is the one that actually researches and goes through your hormone pathways to make sure they're functioning correctly.
Correct.
A lot of them, they wind up putting them on thyroid medication.
Yeah.
How was that? How was that being? How do you take that as their first diagnosis to give them?
I mean, if someone goes on thyroid medication, it's based on blood tests and their their TSH
T3?
and their free T4 levels. I'm talking about women holistically have a reduction in estrogen and then progesterone in their body that causes a symphony of things to happen. And misdiagnosis is widespread. But if women knew more about what's happening in their own body, then they could say to the doctor in a much more educated manner, just like you did, let's engage an endocrinologist. I don't think this is depression. I think this is menopause. We need to get women to that point. And what we're telling these women now is, just eat less and just work out more. And that is not the right education to give a woman who is in menopause. I mean, there's really three things a woman needs to do if she's in menopause to lose weight.
What's that?
First, you have to really understand what on earth is happening in your body. Because once you have that education, that knowledge is power. And you have to understand what your body needs. So nutrition. So understanding what menopause is first. What nutrition does your body need and not need? Because it's different when you're in menopause. And then not all of us gain weight because we're in menopause, right? So many of us at that age in our lives have decades of dieting experience, decades. And diets approach something, and that is really the list of foods you eat. Are you fasting? Are you not fasting? Are you pulling out macros or complete food groups? How many calories are you allowed? How many points? How many whatever? It's all the rules around what you can and can't eat. Never does it touch emotional eating. And you really have to, and that's the third thing a woman needs to do, is really look at her habitual eating habits. Why am I overeating when I'm not hungry in the first place? Why am I always snacking in the afternoon around 4:30 or at nighttime when I'm watching Netflix? There's a reason, and I help women understand why they're doing some of this emotional eating.
Were you emotional eating as
Absolutely.
well?
Absolutely.
When did you really come into realizing that there was a lot of things that was happening to your body?
So I'm 58. I would say around the time I was 53 or 54, I knew something was happening. And you don't know right away because no one is suggesting proactively to you, hey, this might be menopause, or everything you're feeling, totally normal. I would love us to normalize menopause. And so I was early in my 50s when I knew something was happening, but I bet it was a couple years before I really put all the pieces together that, hey, this is hormonal and there might be something I can do to help myself. It doesn't involve drugs or weight loss drugs or anything like that.
How many times did you go to the doctor, your OBGY, your primary care?
We know when you're in your 50s, you don't go to an OBGYN anymore because you're kind of past that. You don't really need to. Yeah. I mean, I was just working with a primary care doctor at that point.
Male or female?
Female. And she's excellent. I love her to death. And she has diagnosed a lot for me personally. But the things that I was experiencing, hot flashes, that's not something I would go talk to a doctor about. So I started educating, and now I'm a certified menopause specialist, and I have an advanced certification in weight loss and mindset. And I put the two together so I can help women understand the full picture. And that's what I'm trying to do. So they're not in their early 50s trying to figure out what's going on. There's some place that they can come and get some education and some help losing weight.
How do you become certified, a certified, what is it again?
I have an advanced certification in weight loss and mindset, so I'm a coach.
Okay.
And then I'm also a certified menopause specialist. There's actually certifications out there that teach you not only what's happening hormonally, but happens with body composition changes, and actually go so far as to teach on the fitness end. I'm not specialized in that area, but the fitness end to help women in menopause because the exercise is different.
What are some of the things that you've been seeing with women, and what age brackets are you seeing the problems happening?
Yeah, it's while you can start experiencing menopause symptoms in their late 30s, it's usually by mid 40s that people are like, all right, I'm doing the exact same thing and I'm gaining weight. And that's 100% true because some of the menopause weight is absolutely not caused by an excess calories. All the belly fat that women have, the menopause belly, is not caused by an excess of calories. It's caused by an increase in cortisol, a reduction of estrogen, some age, but a lot of it is diet. It is what you're eating and not eating that is causing that because it's really brought on by inflammation. And it's dangerous for us because it wraps around your internal organ and it's a leading indicator of getting diseases like heart disease, diabetes, and stroke. So it's a pretty serious thing. So women in their probably mid 40s, late 40s are like, I feel terrible. I can't sleep. I have all this belly fat. I'm gaining weight on top of that. I'm tired. I have achy joints. I feel like I'm 100 years old. You know, I have brain fog. I have mood issues, you know, all the things. And these are my beloved people. These are my people, and this is who I help.
What classification are we really talking about that there is an increase in this happening? Is it more of the stay-home mom? Is it more of the entrepreneurs? Is it the businesswoman? I mean, what are the what is the category?
Yeah. You know, it is non-discriminatory. Women of every different walk of life experience menopause in a completely different way. There are 55 different menopause symptoms that have been identified, and blessedly we don't get all of them or for the same severity, or we have them for the same length of time. But whether you're having symptoms or not, you're in menopause from the time it starts until the end of your life because those hormones never come back. And so everybody experiences it differently, and you don't have more of an experience based on your career or your stress level or anything along that. Actually, Black and Hispanic women experience a lot more of the menopause symptoms, and Asian women experience a lot less of
Why
the
is that?
symptoms.
Based on
It's
your
pure
research?
genetics. No,
Genetics?
it's not Cindy science. It's actual science from Public Journal of Medicine. It's actual science, and it's just genetic based. And how that reduction in the changes in all of the hormones that occur in your body, the severity level that they're impacting your hypothalamus, causing, I'm going to geek out on you here, but causing all the different
You're doing like
vasomotor symptoms.
Different things happening to the body.
Different things happening to the body.
Taking self accountability also means to understand who you're getting information from. Like, how do you determine who's a credible endocrinologist, the right kind of bio medication that the women who I train come to me and say, well, I'm taking this. I'm thinking, who's recommending these things? Like, where are you getting your data and information from? What's your take on this?
Yeah, it's hard, right? Because we're a ripe market to sell stuff to.
Right.
So you can see all kinds of supplements and pills and all the things out there aimed at us because we're all looking for relief. Everybody wants to be able to sleep, lose the weight, feel better, not be achy. I would look for a doctor who is certified through the North American Menopause Society, NAMS. So you can go to the NAMS website and you can get a list of physicians who are in the North American Menopause Society. And they understand menopause at a different level. They're going to different trainings. They're getting continued medical education around this field of study as there more information grows around it. So that would be, if you're looking for a physician, that's what I'd look for. The second thing I'd look for is a functional medicine doctor because they tend to look more for the root of what's causing your symptoms than just treating the symptom itself.
How do you find a functional doctor? You got to get a referral from your doctor. Like, I never even heard of a functional.
Yeah, it's integrative
doctor.
medicine is another term
Okay,
for it.
now
Yes.
I heard of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can usually find them, but the problem is a lot of times insurance doesn't cover them. Sometimes it does, but most of the time it doesn't.
What somebody who doesn't have insurance? That's a good topic. What are their options?
Yeah.
They're limited on funds, limited on resources. What resources are available for individuals, especially when you mention certain communities that economic
Mm-hmm.
uh, capabilities are almost non-existent.
Yeah. Yeah. The internet's probably your best source, but you have to be careful what you believe from where. I would go to sources like North American Menopause Society. I would look at some different resources that back what they talk about with the science and where it's coming from.
Mm-hmm.
They can certainly follow me.
Speaking of that, how has the change in you taking accountability for your own well-being, your
Mm-hmm.
own health, mentally, physically, and emotionally, how has that changed you from where you were before?
Yeah, it's such a good question. I'm so glad you asked that.
That was on my notes.
Yeah, well, good, good notes. I'm so much happier
Okay.
because it's empowering to know what's happening to your body and that you have the power to change it. And so once I learned what I can eat to help reduce my menopausability, stop the achiness, almost completely reduce to nothing my night sweats and my hot flashes, and lose the weight, then I just changed. I felt like I was successful, as I had described earlier, in so many areas of my life,
Mm.
and not this one. This is such a very personal one. The very, how you present yourself to the world and how you feel about yourself. I think a lot of confidence comes through, a lot of happiness. If you're not constantly feeling like, oh, I just keep failing at this part of my life and I feel terrible. So weight loss is hard enough, but then you throw, menopause in there and mix it up, and you've got a lot to unravel. So it felt great for me.
So how long have you been hormone balance free?
I would say free. It's always a lot happening. It's probably been almost 2 years now. In September 1st, it'll be.
Is it hard
2
to
years.
keep it under control?
It's not. It sounds like it would be such an overwhelming thing to take on.
Mm-hmm.
But to lose weight and to eat the things for your body, it really comes down to a lot of clean eating. The number one thing I tell my clients is eat more fiber. Women over the age of 45 have a dramatic decline in the good bacteria diversity in their gut.
Mm-hmm.
And so you'll hear women say, "Oh, I can't eat dairy anymore," or "I can't eat spicy foods anymore." It's because that decline in good gut bacteria in their gut. And so fiber feeds your gut, and it helps keep it from getting leaky gut, so you're not getting inflamed, so there's not weight gain from that.
You've been reading my nutrition manual, haven't
Oh,
you?
no, I have not. I'm glad to hear that this is something you've heard of, but fermented foods is the other thing. You need prebiotics, which are fibrous foods,
Mm-hmm.
probiotics, which are fermented foods. So think, yogurt or kefir or sauerkraut or pickles, sourdough bread, which I heard earlier you love,
Yeah.
is a fermented food. And then the next thing is to reduce sugar.
I was getting ready to ask, what are 3 foods that are actually handicap
Yeah.
foods for women and men too? Because men also have hormone problems that can result in gynecomastia, which is an increase in estrogen in the men
Correct.
versus less testosterone. I'll let you talk about it. This is your show.
No, this is your show. You're kind enough to have me as a guest. But the food that I would tell you, the first thing to reduce is sugar. And for men and women, because we become more insulin resistant as we age.
Mm-hmm.
And so because of the changes in your gut health as a woman, if you continue eating the same amount of sugar, that's be number one, highly processed carbs, which effectively turn into sugar. I mean, sugar is a carb, right? But highly processed carbs, and then probably alcohol. Because there's a lot of sugar in alcohol, and menopausal women don't metabolize it the same way. We have less water in our bodies. Our bodies are smaller. We have muscle mass loss, and so our metabolisms change as we age a bit.
What about beer? I have a lot of clients that always say, I don't drink, but I drink a lot of beer. And I be like, do you not know what beer is made from?
Read the label, man.
Yeah. Do you see alcohol and beer also being a major contributor to hormone imbalance and weight with women?
You know, it is a big contributor to weight, especially women in menopausal age, because we are the number one fastest growing group of alcohol abusers. And that is women, especially professional women, over the age of 45. And it's because your income level's higher, so you have more discretionary income to spend on alcohol. It's more readily available. You're in business, you're entertaining clients, and we have completely, the industry, the alcohol industry has completely glorified alcohol. They're making bottles that look pretty now, that have flowers on them, and we have skinny girl margaritas, and, we talk about, Wine Wednesdays, and the industry has really marketed itself towards this group, and it is the fastest growing group of alcohol abuse. So my program doesn't eliminate alcohol. I mean, it doesn't eliminate anything.
Right.
But if you want to accelerate weight loss, reduce the amount of sugar that's in your body, because then you'll reduce the amount of insulin that is in your body. And you cannot lose weight until you lower the amount of insulin in your body. And you just simply do that by lowering the amount of sugar that you eat and the amount of processed carbs. I would tell you to eat actual bread, like whole grain bread.
Okay.
But don't go to the grocery store. Go to the bakery, because
Get it
limited
fresh?
ingredients. Limited ingredients. There's a reason that loaf of bread can sit on your microwave for 3 weeks and not mold, because it is not. It is full of preservatives, and what it's full of preservative is a version of sugar. So when you cook sugar in a certain way, it acts as preservative. So look at the added sugar in your bread if you're buying grocery store bread.
Before we wrap up, how can the viewers reach out to you to be involved in your program and to contact you if they also need your services about their hormones and basically change their whole lifestyle?
You can go to rethinkweightloss.com, and on there's the first thing you see on the main page is a video that you can download to understand weight loss and why menopause impacts weight so much, and also in my nutrition blueprint for weight loss and well-being. And so rethinkweightloss.com.
Before we wrap up, leave the viewers with that beast mindset that had you going, because you went from corporate America, struggling with weight loss, getting your weight off and under control, and then starting the business to help other people. Leave the viewers with something positive right now.
Yeah, I think the thing I would tell women is it's 100% positive and 100% possible to lose weight. But you cannot lose weight doing the same things that you have been doing to lose weight in the past, because your body is completely different now as you've gone through menopause. But it's 100% possible, and this is the time of your life when you probably are the most successful at career. Maybe your children are older and they're leaving. You've got more time to yourself, and you should feel really good in your own skin. And so if you lose weight and you can get your own symptoms under control, you can this could be the best time of your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, the best time of your life starts right here, right now. This has been another exciting episode of